Good evening. This is the Marion City Council regular meeting, Thursday, August 6th. It is now 5:30 p.m. Anyone with covers, remove your covers. We will now do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have some a public hearing or two tonight, so read your rules on the public hearing. May we have roll call, please?
Ms. Pazor?
Here.
Ms. Etzel? Mr. Spinks?
Present.
Mayor Buska?
Present.
Mr. Crawford?
Present.
Mr. Abalasi?
Here.
Mr. Draper?
Here.
I shall defer to Mr. Draper for the moment of silence, sir. Thank you. Alon, will you handle the introduction, please?
Yeah, we have the director of the new, the new director of the Cedar Rapids Area Convention and Visitors Bureau is here to introduce himself to council.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you for allowing this opportunity for myself to introduce. My name is Aaron McCrate. As it says in the agenda, I am the new president and CEO of the Cedar Rapids Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Been here for a little bit more than a couple of months. Just wanted to have the opportunity to come out and introduce myself, give yourselves a little bit of background on me, answer any questions you may have. In lieu of the public forum this evening, I'll keep it short. Again, my name is Aaron McCrate. Been here for a couple of months. Came here directly from Casper, Wyoming, where I ran the Convention and Visitors Bureau there for about 6.5 years. Born and raised in St. Louis, so a Midwest boy. This is home-ish. Back to the Midwest. Lived in the Southeast for a long time. Worked in minor league baseball for a long time. Excited to be here in this community, in this area, representing what feels like something special is happening. Not only here in Marion, in Cedar Rapids, in this whole region. Quite honestly, the potential is amazing. The new build, the construction, while maybe a bit of a hindrance for somebody new to the area like myself, who's relying on GPS and turn left here and turn right here, when there's orange cones preventing that. We know it's for the betterment of everybody. So just really looking forward to a lot of the projects underway, a lot of the projects that are being discussed. With my baseball background, very excited about the potential of Prospect Meadow right down the road from here. A lot of exciting new things that we're going to be doing with the Convention and Visitors Bureau as well, as this community continues to grow and become more engaged in tourism as an economic development driver, as it is. And really trying to expand our relationships beyond just Cedar Rapids proper, getting out and engaging with the area, which is in our name, is the Cedar Rapids Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. So really, it's exciting for me. I don't have any history. I don't have any politics. I don't have any background. I have no baggage. So it's a fresh perspective that's exciting, and I'm energized. My staff is excited. The area is excited to see what's possible, and we're just at the cusp, I think, of what's possible here, and we're going to be doing a lot internally to find out really who we are as a destination and who is already coming. If you want to grow the pie, we need to know who's in the pie already. So we're going to be doing a very extensive research project internally to find out who that visitor is and how do we get more of them to come to the area. What are they doing? Where are they going? How long are they staying? Where else are they going? Are we the end of their trip or just the middle or the back end of it? These are the things that we don't know, and these are the things that we're going to be finding out here in the next 5 to 6 months. It's not going to be overnight, but we're going to get the answers to those questions. And then those answers will in turn, ideally, grow that visitor base and give us a strong message and a strong audience to know who is our audience and what is that message. What are they reading? What are they listening to? What are they watching? Those sorts of questions we'll have the answers for. I'd love to come back here in 5 to 6 months, update you on the progress, update you on where we're at and where we're going. Right now, it's just more a name to a face to a name. I'd love to meet with you individually, get more in depth. Again, I don't want to take too much of your time and the public's time here this evening, but I look forward to meeting you all individually and answering any questions tonight, and then any questions going forward, certainly.
What baseball club?
I said I wanted to keep it short. I worked for I started out in independent baseball with the Springfield Ozark Mountain Ducks, then moved on to the Tampa Rays Single A club in Charleston, South Carolina, Double A with the Braves in Greenville, South Carolina, Double A with the Padres in Mobile, Alabama. You have to say Alabama like that. Atlantic City, New Jersey with an independent club. Then out to Billings, Montana with the Reds, Casper, Wyoming with the Rockies, back to St. Louis with an independent club called the River City Rascals in O'Fallon, Missouri. So brief history of the baseball teams that I worked for in my 14 or so years in
No
the
Cubs
sport.
in there.
I'm sorry?
No Cubs in there.
I don't know if you heard me from the top. I was born and raised in St. Louis.
I did. That's why I
No
asked.
self-respecting St. Louisan would ever work for the Cubs. Sorry for the Cubs fans in the room, but another victory for the Redbirds today. But no, I've never worked for the Cubs.
Thank you.
I'd say he's got to be a Redbird. What was on the top of your list when you got to your desk the first day?
Quite honestly, what was at the top of the list is how can we grow the budget? That was a big, even before I got to my desk, that was part of the interview process. That was part of the job posting, was we're doing great things with a limited pile of money. How can we grow that base so we can do more great things? So really it's the budget was number one, and how to grow it, whether that's private, public, a mixture of both. How do you go about that? And when I started in Casper in 2008, our budget was $896,000. When I left in May, I left the draft budget on my desk at $2.6 million. So in 6.5 years, it almost tripled, one way or the other. So I think I bring some of that to the table, trying to think of some outside of the box, as much as I hate that term, some different ways to look about growing a budget as a public entity. Can we take the blinders off of the C6 and kind of look at it as an LLC? We had a lot more handcuffs in terms of what we could and couldn't do with funds in Wyoming based on state statute that we don't have here. We don't have the same limitations here that we did there. So there's a lot more opportunity out there, I think, here in Iowa and in Lynn County.
Thanks for your introduction.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to having you dovetail with what we have here in the city. So,
Absolutely.
we have a vibrant group here, so you'll find that
Half my
enlightening.
staff lives here, so I get to hear about Marion quite a bit. So I'm excited to get engaged.
Great.
Truly.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
At this time, do we have any citizens that would like to do a presentation on anything that is not on this evening's agenda, ma'am? Step forward with your name and address at the podium, please.
This is like negotiating a roundabout. Not quite. What? smoothly. I didn't fall down anyway. Kay Lammers, 28 22nd Avenue in Marion. And I was here on Tuesday, and you were all discussing the safety of sidewalks, and you want to go back and make these people put in sidewalks where there's no homes. Well, Councilman Aboasi made a comment that public safety is a priority. So I guess I want to read you something. I'm a saver, so this is clear back. When I was on the council, or actually before I got on, trying to stop a mobile home court in my neighborhood, Chapter 32 of the Municipal Code, Section 3203 reads, "The Marion zoning ordinance is adopted for the purpose of promoting the public safety, health, and morals, and the general welfare of the people, and is intended to accomplish the following." 1.11, the lessening of congestion on the public streets. 1.13, the avoiding of undue concentration of population. 1.14, the prevention of overcrowding of land, thereby ensuring proper living and working conditions and preventing development of slums and blight. Now, I hope you'll all take this to heart before this city does something crazy with this area, because I do believe that you're violating every one of these codes. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak? Charlie, I think I'll call you up now. I'll have Charlie, I'll call you, sir. Charlie does have something that is related with what's going to happen this further on in this evening, but he wanted to speak, and I would have violated protocol then, so I'll just violate it now. So go ahead, sir. You have a letter or something. Go
Thank
ahead,
you, Mayor
sir.
and Council. My name is Charles Knutson, and I live at 2835 24th Avenue, Marion. I would like to first acknowledge that since the last council meeting of July 23rd, 2015, Mr. Tom Trehane, Director of Planning and Development, has been very helpful in providing me with numerous documents and correspondence regarding the 29th Avenue, 35th Street proposed roundabout project. Thanks, Tom. In those documents, there are numerous statements made by City Engineer Dan Whitlow that, based on MUTCD evaluation standards, nothing was needed to be done at this intersection. Again, I say, nothing needed to be done at this intersection. The last time this statement was made was on August 14th, 2014, at the special council meeting where the council voted 5-1, Councilperson Etzel was absent, and Councilperson Preserve voted no to move forward with option J, the roundabout option. For whatever the reason, this council was not willing to accept the advice of its paid engineering professionals, but in their own wisdom felt the need to spend Marion taxpayer dollars. It should be noted that as at the August 7th, 2014 council meeting, the council voted 7-0 to purchase the first home at this intersection. The council voted to purchase the house 5 days before they voted to proceed with the option J roundabout. Is this cart before the horse? And on September 4th, the council voted to purchase the second house, with all voting to do so except Councilperson Preserve. The Marion City Engineering Department's position is that these two houses purchased are for future development of this intersection and have nothing to do with the present roundabout presently being planned. So the proposed roundabout, is it just a temporary fix? The council has taken this intersection issue from nothing needed to be done to purchasing two houses for $510,000 and selling them for $1,000. Again, we are told this is for future intersection upgrades. The council approved a motion, option J, to proceed to make plans to build a roundabout, and tonight are opposed to take the final step to vote on approving the contract to build the roundabout. I guess it would be hard for the council, with over $540,000 of Marion taxpayers' dollars already spent and $164,000 of state funds secured, to undo what has occurred to date. The council is now one final vote away to spend another approximately $90,000 of taxpayer money funds to build the roundabout. Again, per the MUTCD evaluation standards and the city engineer's recommendation, nothing needed to be done at this intersection. Thank you for hearing my concerns.
Thank you. Sir?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm going to do
We need a name and an address, sir.
yeah. My name is Conrad Ramsey, and I live at 2835 26th Avenue in Marion, Iowa. If I might, for just a second, if you don't mind, who here knows me? Marion residents? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I own a business in Marion.
Sir, you have to speak into
I'm
the
sorry.
mic.
I own a business in Marion, and I saw 5 people here from Marion that know me. I find that very concerning, that I am here and I have a wonderful restaurant that serves great food, and 5 people here know me. I work there quite a bit, and most of my customers, when they come in, they greet me, and insomuch I'm a hugger, and they even will hug me, and we've become very good friends. One of the things that I really want to express to you folks here that don't know me, have you been uptown? I want to know. Do you know there's a restaurant called Ramsey's Metro Market uptown? We are in a situation right now. We have a great council. They're doing great things for the city. They're moving it forward. We need, and Kay, to your point, traffic on 7th Avenue is dangerous. We need that traffic off the main thoroughway through Marion. And the proposals of Uptown Marion are doing just that. They're going to quieten Uptown. And to this fine gentleman that talked about the economic developments that he can see, and he's here for 6 months now, and he's so excited about things that are going on in Marion. I am too, as a business owner, and as of Monday, a property owner. I am purchasing the building we're in. And that's a big step for a little guy to do that. But what it takes is each and every one of you out there, Marion residents, to support making Uptown Marion a destination city. So I am here appealing to you and saying, let's make this the city that people want to come to. There's a terrible thing that happened in 2008 in Cedar Rapids. It had a devastating flood. But guess what? The flood was in a city that was on a down spiral. That flood forced them to change it, and guess what's happening to Cedar Rapids in the last 5 years? They are booming. They are growing, they're growing, they're growing. Marion isn't a flood zone, and they're not going to do that unless our people support making Uptown Marion a destination city. Walk down the main street. Look at how many storefronts do not have a business in it. That is not a good thing. So I'm here as a business owner and a Marion resident asking for your support to keep this moving forward for the future and the destination of this great city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to make a comment? None noted. We shall go to the consent calendar. Councilman Nick.
I would like 12, 13, and 14 pulled for discussion, if I could. 12, 13, 14.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent calendar as presented, including items 1 through 11 and 15, which include resolutions numbers 24745 through 24753.
Second. Motion is made and second for the consent calendar discussion. I think any other discussion? We are pulling for discussion 12, 13, and 14. Correct? Right. All right, fine. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent calendar carries. So now we shall discuss 12, 13, and 14, sir.
You want to read them?
Yes, sir.
And put them in. This is a motion to receive and file correspondence requesting a property tax phase-in for Marion Iron Property, Marvin Brown, president of Marion Iron, of 4000 3rd Avenue.
Second.
Motion is made and second to receive and file correspondence. Do we want to talk about this now, or is it later in the?
No, we can talk about it now. Essentially what you're doing is you're receiving and filing a request on behalf of Marion Iron to phase in the property taxes at their new location. And I think on Tuesday I probably wasn't very clear. I mean, there's nothing on the agenda tonight to actually approve those. This is actually starting off the process. It'll take about 6 weeks for us to go through this. We have to have a consultation session with the affected taxing entities, and then we have to hold a public hearing on each of the agreements.
Good. Fine. That's what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, and so what I would like to have, Lon, is I would like to have a special council session to go over this with the three businesses to talk about this, to schedule it like a work session or something that we can all be together and hear their proposal.
Okay.
And that's why I wanted to pull it, to make that statement. And that goes for 13 and 14 as well.
You would put 21 and 22 in there as well. That's the other two businesses.
Yes, yeah. I missed that one. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, 13 and 14 were two resignations from the Civil Rights Commission. That's why I was a little confused why you pulled those. But
oh, yeah,
if it's,
okay.
Did you want to talk about those?
No.
No, you didn't want to rescind
No,
those.
if it was
I got
21
carried
and
away on
22
it.
under the other section, that's
Dirty glasses.
fine.
Yeah.
All right, so now we can go back to the consent calendar, and we have a motion to receive and file. We did have a second?
Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And now for number 13, sir.
Yes, sorry about that.
Let's go with number 13 and 14. Motion to receive and file for both of these letters. May I have a request?
Yeah, this is a motion to receive and file resignation letters regarding the Marion Civil Rights Commission, Deborah Bryden of 2420 22nd Avenue.
Second.
Motion is made and second to receive and file. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Number 14, sir.
Motion to receive and file resignation letter regarding Civil Rights Commission from Elizabeth Heichenbaumer of 802 12th Street.
Second.
Motion is made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. And now, we move on to the consent calendar with Council Member Avalosely abstention as presented. Councilman Draper?
Yes, Your Honor. Those items, item number 16 is approved following liquor permits, Casey's General Store. Two of those, one at 975 11th Street and one at 2020 7th Avenue. They've each had one conviction in the last 5 years. In addition to that, a special outdoor privilege for an existing liquor license for Q Dogs Barbecue, no violations in 5 years. Moving on to item number 17, it's resolution 24754, approving partial payment number 4 on the public service facility. Item number 18 is resolution 24755, approving amendments for professional services on the public service facility. Item number 19 is a project calendar regarding the engineering department, which brings about resolution number 24756, which is a bill Shive-Hattery regarding 35th and 29th Avenue design standard. Resolution 24757, approving partial payment number 3, Hillview Drive construction project. Resolution 24758, approving partial payment LL Pelling, 13th Street. Resolution 24759, approving partial payment number 2 to LL Pelling for the HMA resurfacing project. Motion, moving forward to item number 20, motion to approve project calendar on plats as followed. Resolution number 24760, first edition in that plat. Motion to receive and file correspondence for property tax phase-in, and motion, or item number 22 is sales tax phase-in as well for Klinger Paint. Those are the two items that we're removing to talk about at a special meeting.
Second.
Motion is made and second for the consent calendar. Discussion? All those in favor of the consent calendar signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Finance, Public Services, please.
Was it moved and seconded to put items 21 and 22 with the prior one that,
Well,
number 12?
Well, we,
So that it's there, so they are a group of discussions rather than.
I mean, you understand that, don't you?
I assumed you had the same request
Yes,
to have those businesses
that's
come as
correct.
well.
Yeah, so if we have a meeting, all three of those I would like to go over.
I just want to clarify.
We'll see what we can get set up.
all right, you may go with,
Since I screwed it up, thank you.
you may go with number 1, Councilman Pazur.
Your Honor, I move to approve the initial consideration of Ordinance 1520, amending Chapter 99 of the Code of Ordinances, increasing monthly sanitary sewer domestic user charges from $1.95 to $2.30. Now, I presume that this has to do with what it gets paid to Cedar Rapids.
Sir, is that what we're talking about, sir?
We need a second, and then we'll.
Second.
Yeah. We are adjusting the sanitary sewer fees to make sure that we can keep up with anticipation of where Cedar Rapids is heading. We've been working for 5 years on a new agreement with them, and we're switching from the current one, which is based on Marion's percentage of the overall metro area population, to a flow-based agreement. So in looking at adjusting the sanitary sewer fees, we've been looking at leaning more on consumption, the amount of water or wastewater that people are contributing to this system versus that monthly sewer fee.
If you'd like, I got a breakdown
Sure.
of the costs attributed to Cedar Rapids, if you want me to put it up.
Sir,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Lon, now, we have used this sanitary sewer fund. We've used that fund to fund other items on this, in the city at different times. Is that correct?
On occasion, we have at times made internal loans for other projects that have been paid back over a period of time if the fund balance can support it. When we do something like that, one of the requirements that we have is we have to make sure that it doesn't damage the fund. So if it, for example, loses out on 1% interest from the bank, the internal loan has to pay that 1% interest so that you end up at the same place you would have otherwise.
Sure. Thank you.
So every time it's been borrowed against, it has been repaid.
Yes.
Very well.
There
Sir,
may be, just
Go
to
ahead.
clarify, there may be a few times that we've done that, like on a TIF project. Sometimes it takes a few years for the property taxes to build up, so you wouldn't show a payment right away. But we usually have a payment schedule that will show it starting 2 years later or 3 years later, and then amortized over a period of time till it's fully repaid.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sir.
So here's kind of what we've seen in the past few years. Since 2008, actually since 2006, we've seen a dramatic increase in treatment fees that we pay to the city of Cedar Rapids. That's a water pollution control facility down in Bertram, or outside of Bertram. Back in 2008, we were paying just over $96,000 per month in treatment fees, and now, as you can see, in July 2015, that is up to $217,000, just over. And right now, our agreement with the city of Cedar Rapids is based on the population of Marion. And every year when we break out treatment fees, we take a portion of the Cedar Rapids treatment budget minus the industrial users, like Penford and people like that. We take those out of the equation, and they break it down based on population. So what is proposed in front of Cedar Rapids, we were very close, is a new flow-based agreement. It's going to be based upon flow, and therefore the ordinance is proposing more of a flow-based agreement. You're going to pay more based on the amount of water that you use and put down the sewer system rather than on that service charge that we discussed on Tuesday. Be happy to go over that as well if you want.
Now, if people quit taking showers, that means it's going to go down, right?
On a flow-based agreement, it would. Currently, not now. So
Do you expect that our payments would go down because of a flow-based agreement?
It was indicated by the staff at the city of Cedar Rapids it would, quite a bit. At that time, like I said on Tuesday, When that does happen, then we should revisit this again, adjust the rates accordingly. And our goal, as I said, and I'll pull that slide up here, we have a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, we do have some rate disparities in the users within the city. And as you can see, a low user that doesn't use that much, that's 500 cubic feet per month, they're paying, over in this right-hand column, $3.90 per 100 cubic feet disposed within the sanitary sewer system. Whereas this user over here, this high user, over 2,500 cubic feet, they're only paying $2.62. So there's a rate disparity there. We really get into it with the multifamily users or the multifamily residents. If we get a large apartment complex where there's only one water meter, pretty significant rate disparity occurs. That's because most of our fees are based off that service fee, that water bill, or is that we charge that fee per water meter, okay? It's not flow-based. And so the user in a multifamily residence, they're going to see a much lower sewer rate than a person in a single-family residence that has a water meter attached to their house. So there's a rate disparity there. So the purpose of what we're doing is increasing the fees to cover the treatment costs, but increasing them only on the user side. So we're going to close that gap in rate disparity. That's the objective.
And Ryan, I know we talked about this before, but in the discussions with the city of Cedar Rapids, does it sound like when we go to a flow-based, we'll still be using our flow meters versus the ones that they've had in for?
Actually, that's a very good point. They are in the process of upgrading their flow meters to the same ones that we have. We've given full access to our flow meters to compare data. We have a very good dialogue right now. Our intention is to get everything on one system, one consistent system. That way we can see and compare all the flow data through the entire metro area. It's very important for us to do that. But yes, the flow meters are very invaluable to us right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, so we have a second on the ordinance, 15-20. Do we have any other discussion? Yes? No. What did you say?
Yes, we have a second.
Yes, we had a second. All those in favor of ordinance 15-20 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman speaks.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to approve ordinance number 1521, amending Chapter 130 of the Code of Ordinances relating to pawnbrokers and dealers in used articles and items purchased for taken in trade and providing penalties. Our initial consideration.
Motion is made and second for ordinance 15-21. Discussion.
Yes, Your Honor, I have some discussion. I took it today and I did talk to our pawn shop, and he's pretty tightly controlled by the PD in that he gives a list what he's taking in and what he has. He didn't think the 5-day thing was a big problem to him. He, however, is unhappy with the fact that our jewelry stores can take things in on trade without ever reporting those to anyone. He made mention that he actually had the tattoo parlor bring a ring in to sell to him that he had taken it in on trade on a tattoo. And so we have, I don't think it's broad enough. I think that we need to include anybody who's taking in used goods. If our jewelry stores are taking in used jewelry on trades for new ones, they should be on the same basis on those items that our pawn shop is. So, whether or not you could include those when it says dealers, I don't know if that was the intent or not.
Well, it says pawnbrokers and dealers in used articles, so I would presume
Well, but a jewelry store is not a dealer in used articles. They take them in. Yes, they do sell them, but they also melt them down.
Yeah.
And I just think, to satisfy his thinking on it, he's being unjustly treated in that the jewelry stores, the antique stores, and some of our other operators don't come under the same rules that he is.
Well, then let's move to amend and add.
Well, I think that My motion would be that we table it and give the PD an opportunity to refine it a little bit. And that is my motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, but I want to continue with discussion. Do you have any input, sir?
Our main concern is that most people that are getting rid of stolen property, they're not really so concerned with trading it in for something that's more expensive and paying that fee. They're wanting the cash. And our concern is that if somebody steals something and who's ever buying it from them can get rid of it that same day or the next day, by the time we find out that it may be stolen, it's gone. And it's not like, with jewelry, it's kind of different because there's no serial number with it generally. You may have a description, but once it's gone, there's not really much way to be able to say for sure that that's somebody's stolen property. So what we're looking for is just for the businesses to hold on to it for 5 days to give us a chance. You know, it's always possible that somebody may not know within 5 days that it's been stolen, and it could be gone. But the majority of the cases, somebody would know within 5 days that it's stolen. That would give us a chance to kind of catch up to it a little bit, as opposed to having it be gone.
And the pawn shop does report to you as he takes items in, or
he reports, but again, you know, the type of description that we get, if it's a ring, you know, it's a pretty generic description that is probably not going to help us much.
I would think he'd get a better description from a jeweler because he deals in it all the time. You know, he could. I just think they should. Whoever is taking things in on trade needs to be under the same rules. That's the only thing I think.
Is there a risk of, I don't know what the word is, but like with the jewelry, like laundering it? If somebody would take it to the jeweler, trade it in for something that's maybe a little bit more expensive, but then go to the pawn shop?
It's a possibility, but that's not something that we generally see.
But it could happen.
It could happen. But the intention with the ordinance is to try to eliminate as much of that as we can.
And I understand that, and I'm not trying to. I agree with the ordinance. I just think we need to broaden it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we could ever make an ordinance that would cover every situation.
Maybe not, but we could include all retail stores and notify them. You know, that would satisfy me anyway.
We have a motion.
I didn't make the motion. He did it.
No.
I seconded it.
We have a motion to table?
Table and let them refine.
Very well. We have a motion to table and refine. Any other discussion? Those in favor of tabling signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Done.
Thank you.
And now we move to Councilman Crawford.
This is ordinance number 15-18, amending Chapter 157 of the Code of Ordinances related to stormwater utility. This is the final consideration.
Second. Motion is made and seconded for ordinance number 15-18, Code of Ordinance relating to stormwater utility, final consideration. Any other discussion? Those in favor of ordinance 15-18 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And I shall now open a public hearing regarding the Highway 15113 Signal Advanced Warning Device Project. Sir.
Your Honor, this is a project to add advanced warning signals at the intersection of Highway 100 and 151. We do have project developed that we did receive one sealed bid on the 28th of July from Trey Electric, which was about 24.73% overestimate at $38,200. We are, however, feel that that is still within the market range of the project and are recommending award of the project.
Thank you. At this time, is there anyone in the audience who would be opposed to this Signal Advanced Warning Device Project? Anyone who would be opposed to this may raise their hand and be called. None noted. Is there anyone who is in support of this particular project? You may raise your hand and be called. None noted? Yes, you did. Is that a hand?
Support it, yes.
Would you like to speak? No. Oh, all right. There is no one to speak. Public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 24761, accepting bids and awarding contract to Trey Electric Corporation regarding the Highway 151, Highway 13 signal advanced warning device project in the amount of $38,200.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded for resolution 24761. Discussion?
Yes, sir. What is the accident rate in that area?
Yeah. It's 100, right? I mean, I think it's mistyped in here, right? Isn't it 100?
It's Highway 100.
Yes.
It's the end of the bypass at Seacrest Road.
Right, so we're...
And this is primarily because of the accidents that have occurred there, I presume?
It's part of the study that was done, yes, and I don't know what that accident rate is. I don't have it with me. I can get it for you if you like, but we went through that.
There have been a couple really horrendous crashes there.
Yes, it's been justified through the study that was done, and the DOT has approved the installation based on that study.
And they don't do things just haphazardly. They're serious about it. So.
Yes.
So these are yellow warning lights that flash and an impending signal change?
Yeah, they are like the ones at Mount Vernon Road. As the signal is preparing to change to red, north and south, it will start flashing to advance warn the drivers approaching.
Very well.
But can we make sure that the approved motion has the right highway in it?
Oh.
100.
The resolution is correct, and the project started out as a multi-intersection development, but however, the DOT only approved this intersection. So with tracking, we like to not change the name, so we've done that, but the project is at Highway 100.
Okay.
Highway 113.
Yes.
Any other discussion? For resolution 24761, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Draper?
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we remove from the table Resolution 24735, accepting bids and awarding contract to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete LLC regarding the 2015 35th Street and 29th Avenue intersection improvement project in the amount of $255,366. This was tabled on 7/23 meeting.
Second.
Motion is made and second to remove from the table resolution 24735. Discussion. All those in favor of this resolution 24735 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Pazur?
Your Honor, I move to place on the table Resolution 24,735, accepting bids and awarding contract to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete LLC regarding the 2015 35th Street, 29th Avenue intersection improvement project in the amount of $255,366.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded for resolution 24735. Discussion.
And I also call for a roll call.
And you call for a roll call. Do you have any discussion on this?
Your Honor?
Sir?
I just wanted clarity. She said to place on the table again. Is that what you're asking to do?
No. We
That's what she said.
That is what she said, and I want to make sure it was.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Well,
I didn't want to approve it.
Someone's got
The resolution as printed.
The resolution on the table is resolution 24735, accepting bids and awarding contract to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete LLC regarding 2015 35th Street and 29th Avenue intersection improvement project in the amount of $255,366.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that what you read?
Yeah, normally I would say I approve resolution. Well, that's why I'm calling.
You just read the resolution. We read the resolution and it was seconded.
You got it.
As printed.
Mr. Mayor, doesn't somebody need to move to actually make the motion?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody has to move a resolution. Otherwise, there's no resolution.
That's the next item, though.
We have
Okay.
Okay, we have another resolution, sir.
And that's the resolution that
The next one.
Councilman Pazur made. Yeah.
Okay.
So we made this resolution to accepting the bids.
We need a vote for it. We've already had a first and second.
This is simply a motion to remove it from the table and place it back on the active calendar for council consideration.
Right.
Then the next item would be the resolution to actually accept the bids and award the contract.
They already
Sure.
voted on that one.
Right, we're just
We've already
waiting for a
removed it
vote
from
on
the
this
table.
one.
We've removed it from the table
Yep.
already.
Yeah, you already
This
voted
is
on
to
that.
accept the bids.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
Accepting the bids. There you are.
Yeah.
Okay?
You want a roll call?
And you-
A roll call?
Was there discussion?
Well, let's do a roll call. If she called for it, let's do a roll call. Go ahead.
Okay.
Was there
Gonna accept
discussion
the
on
bids.
We have discussion.
Sorry, Mayor, but was there discussion on this
No.
item? Was there any-
Discussion. Go ahead. Do you have any discussion at all?
We don't need a roll call on this one.
Oh,
It'll be
Okay.
the next
you're
one.
going to rescind that roll call?
I would
Fine.
like to rescind the
All right.
roll call.
Discussion on this item now and get this cleared. Do you have any discussion, anyone? None? Very well. Those in favor of this resolution, 24735, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Spinks.
I move to approve Resolution 24762, approving contract and bond with Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete LLC regarding the 2015 35th Street and 29th Avenue intersection improvement project.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 24762. Discussion.
Now I call for a roll call on this resolution.
Very well. Do you have any discussion? Discussion, sir.
No.
Dan, can you just recap the history of this?
You want the whole history?
Well,
I did put together a timeline on the project that I need to pull out. Hopefully I brought it. The first serious discussion about this project started on July 7th of 2011. We had some interest from Summit Point to make the intersection a little safer, or at least appear or feel more safer. At that time, we were looking at an evergreen tree that was on the southeast corner that we had removed to help with the visibility. We also at that time looked at moving the stop bars on the south and north legs closer to the intersection to provide for the crossing of north-south traffic to have less area to span. We
That's
then...
what at the time you called bump outs or something like that?
Pardon?
With the bump outs that we talked about at one point?
Yeah, next, and then we went through some efforts to remove parking on the northeast and northwest corners. Those were not approved by council. Council did direct staff on April 10th of 2014 to perform a solution study. At that time, engineering did come back with narrowing of the pavements to allow for the bump outs so that the north-south traffic would have less of a span to cross north and south, which would also get them out farther into the intersection to help with visibility east and west. At that time, between that time and the development of the project, we continued to look at the intersection. We did some traffic counts and saw that a lot of the problems were derived from the north-south traffic in the left turn bay and the straight-through bay competing for visibility east and west, and felt that that was contributing to a lot of the insecurity of those crossings. The bump outs, in our opinion, would not have solved that solution. Now, in all this, Mr. Knutson is correct. We were not in support of changing out here only because, based on the statistics of the study, the accident rates were not significantly higher than the average intersection in Marion, and that the congestion was not significant except for short periods of time during the day. Thereby, looking again at the intersection and the development of many roundabouts around the country, we decided to look into that situation. And doing that, this is all happening. I have a timeline here if somebody actually needs it, but we looked at some ways to fund that project. In doing that, we applied for some traffic safety improvement programming funds, received $164,000, which helped us move forward with the project, and received approval and direction from council to develop that project. In doing that, we hired Shive Hattery to develop construction plans and go to letting, and that's what we've done at this point.
So, I mean, my recollection is there were citizens that wanted something done about the intersection. There were council people that wanted something done about the intersection. The it did not justify the expense of signalizing it, right?
Yeah, signalizing it would have created congestion problems on the east and west legs due to the driveways that were placed on a major arterial, which was a poor decision, in my opinion, sometime in the past, thereby creating a situation where a roundabout would continue flow, which would reduce those backups and congestions at the driveways.
So this was the workable solution of doing something there to satisfy the citizens that wanted something done there.
Yeah, there was a very strong inclination towards doing something by the public. Council was pushed in several different ways from the public to make a change here. And I support the change. I think it'll be a good thing. It just wasn't supported by the statistics of the MUTCD.
But you are in support of this?
Yeah, I support the project.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You stated signals would not support that would not improve traffic. That would improve traffic congestion, I guess you could say.
It would increase traffic congestion.
Traffic congestion. What about stop signs themselves, sir?
We really feel
What's
like
the study
stop
on
signs,
that?
Yeah, we really feel the stop signs would create a lot of congestion. The stopping east and west combined with the north and south would create a lot of backup there, especially in the morning and evenings.
But we do have stop signs down a little farther down the road on Indian Creek and 29th.
Yeah, I'd put
do we see that congestion there?
A roundabout would improve that situation as well. However, we don't have the room for one there. So we have backups there. I think anybody that drives that intersection at 8 in the morning or 5 at night or 3 in the afternoon would agree that the congestion there is horrendous.
Terrible congestion. Didn't you also say that the stop signs might make it more dangerous?
Yes. Also in that intersection you brought up, we've looked at signalization there as well. We have so many kids crossing that intersection for school. We feel that signalized intersection at that would be more dangerous for the children because they're stopping there and people tend to run those yellow lights and so forth. We feel the stop situation for the pedestrians in that area is more important and safer for those kids.
And if you had a roundabout there, how would the kids get through that intersection with a roundabout? How safe would that be?
Roundabouts prove to be safer for pedestrians because they're only crossing one direction of traffic at a time. They will go from the side across one lane of traffic to a splitter island to a refuge island and then cross again at the next lane of traffic only looking the other direction. Provides for a much better, safer situation.
Do we have a roundabout in our city at this time where we can say that those statistics are backed up?
No. We do not have a roundabout in town that has a lot of pedestrian traffic at this time.
If we approve this particular roundabout, this will be the first roundabout that will be a fully functional roundabout. I'm saying four areas with nominal traffic. So this could be the one that tells the tale.
This would be a true test for the volumes for this intersection.
And you noticed, and you noted in earlier times that if this doesn't work, we could always go back to.
We could go back to a standard intersection here if we really needed to. I don't think that'll be necessary. There are many roundabouts in the Midwest that are working and operating very well. Iowa City just opened up one on July 4th at Holiday and 12th Street that is operating very well. And that's high both pedestrian and more traffic than we have at this intersection.
And that's a mini roundabout as well.
It's a mini. It's exactly like this one.
Yeah.
And they are handling the pedestrian traffic out through that.
Yes, and bicycle. They actually have a bike path that goes through that intersection.
Well, my concern, once again, is are the school buses that will be driving through there, that if they can't make the roundabout, they're going to drive over that 4-inch high center and kids are not seat belted in, and I haven't seen a child yet in a school bus that doesn't take an opportunity to fall out of their seat when the situation arises. So I really would worry more about the damage to them than to other drivers. Also, I don't think roundabouts are pedestrian friendly, especially when you have to say, okay, now you look to the right if you're going to go here, and then you have to go look to the left, and no, not when you're dealing with children.
Currently, pedestrians are crossing 3 lanes and 50 feet of pavement up there. I can't see how this would be any less safe.
No.
What is the raise? That center, is it raised 4 inches? It's not that.
It's 3 inches.
3 inches.
I just read something that it was going to be 4.
No, the splitter islands I think are 4, but the center island is 3. I could be wrong. I haven't looked at them recently, but I'm pretty sure they're 3.
I just read through that thing in the last couple of days, and it was 4 inches.
We discussed raising them to 4 early on in the project to allow for better control of traffic, partially because of some concerns by council. But we have gone back to, I'm almost positive, gone back to a 3-inch center island.
Well, I can't think that the fire department is going to be real happy running over and disrupting all kinds of suspensions and all kinds of things.
The 3-inch would be all right with our trucks to go over. The 4-inch, I would be a little concerned. So when I spoke with engineering, at 3 inches was acceptable.
Well, what I read was 4. So.
Do we have any other concerns?
Yeah,
Sir.
Your Honor, I have a procedure question. I move that we took off the table 24-735. Councilman Bazur mentioned tabling, and she didn't intend that, on 24-735 and asked for a roll call vote. And now we're at 24-762, which is just approving the contract as a result of 24-735. Is that right?
And the next one is approving that awarding.
Well, we're approving the contract. Yes.
Right. We're at number 6 is what you're talking.
Yes.
Sir? Yes.
Number 6 is just approving the contract. The award is already, my understanding, has already occurred. They submit a contract, which they've done already. We're approving the signature of that and the entering of the bond associated with the performance of the contract.
But was Councilman Bazur's intent to have a roll call vote on 24-735 is my question.
I believe she rescinded that, sir.
Okay, thank you.
But she did put a roll call for number 6, resolution 24762, and we do have a roll call for that. And so, do we have any further discussion? None?
I just looked at the design standard, and it says the maximum is 5 inches for the center. That's what's in the design standard. So,
Design standard, what's the design standard?
Design standard that you gave us for a mini roundabout. So,
Yeah, I would go back to the construction plans, the plan of improvements. I'm pretty sure they're not. With the center island, the splitter islands might be higher. Well, they are higher, but the center island is not.
Yeah, the central island, it says maximum is 5 inches.
Yeah, we're not at that.
Yeah, so apparently it's whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's a maximum 5, and we didn't use the 5 because of the request from the fire department.
What the fire department
I can go
says.
grab some plans if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have to agree with that. And like I said, we were told 3 inches, and that's what we.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's got.
Yeah.
We've been working with the schools as well, and they're happy with the whole configuration and everything that we have.
But just to be clear, Dan, just one more time, you support this. You think it's going to make things better, and you think it's, I guess, in your estimation, is the best solution to.
You're asking 2 different questions.
Well,
as an engineer, I don't feel that there was a validated need for improvement at this intersection. However, the construction of this project will greatly improve the safety and comfort of the intersection and the congestion level.
So you think this is a good solution or response to what was public
Yes, I think it will
request
solve
for doing something here?
It will solve the majority, if not all, of the concerns of the people that are using this intersection.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
I just have one comment, and that is that, with regard to the school buses, and I think this is important for everybody to understand, and that is when a mini roundabout goes in, it's not like the speeds that the traveling public is using that road for now with no stop signs is going to be maintained. You will be forced to slow down and go through the intersection. That is the beauty of what this will bring to that intersection. Everything will slow down. It won't stop, but it will slow down. That provides that opportunity for the bus to go through and make it around the roundabout. The idea is not to drive over the center island. In no circumstances, that's the idea, unless it's an emergency and that you need to get somewhere. But that is the concept. The traffic volumes now and the speed at which it's traveling make it difficult to come out of that intersection if you're driving north or coming south. The roundabout will provide that slowing of traffic, much easier to manipulate the intersection. I have a video if you want to see that.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I think we've seen the videos before, so I think we've had a good enough discussion. Thank you so much. At this time, we will have that roll call.
Ms. Pazor.
No.
Mr. Spinks.
Yes.
Mayor Buska.
Going through this, there were a lot of compelling arguments, positive on this, which I hadn't heard before. I'm going to vote yes.
Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Abalosely.
Yes.
Mr. Draper.
I sit here thinking of the 97% of the people who put me in this chair who have called me concerning this, who are opposed to it. But it should have been opposed before now. I mean, it's unfair to an excavating contractor who has bid it in good faith, and all we are doing now is executing that contract. And with that in mind, I have to vote yes in favor of a business. If we were going to vote no, it should have been a long time ago.
Another thing, too, I think this is going to be the very first roundabout, functional type roundabout. We talked about this earlier. And this one here will have a lot of traffic, and this one here will tell the tale of all of these roundabouts that we want to do in the city, the ones that we've done now that are great. I call them incomplete because there's not enough traffic on them right now. This one here is going to be a busy one, and it'll be the first. 7th and 7th will be another one. And I think we're going to learn a lot off of this one. A lot of people will learn a lot. And we'll either learn how to use it functionally or get a new mayor. Anyway, here we go. So
5-1, it was carried.
Thank you. Councilman Crawford, number 7.
This is resolution number 24763, approving concurrence of a contract for the construction of the Central Corridor Project, 26th Street to 31st Street, Stage 1, by Genesis Equities, LCC, in the amount of $369,232.30.
Second.
Motion is made and second for resolution 24763.
It's
and
364.
It's an adjusted dollar amount per engineering.
I talked to...
This is resolution number 24763, sir.
I requested that the amount be changed slightly. We went back, and there's an item within the contract that provides for railroad tie removal, and we felt that being a lump sum was probably overstating the cost of that project. However, we wanted to put enough quantity in there to allow for the coverage of those ties to be removed. So even though the contract is higher than the previous amount, it'll probably end up being lower because that is an unknown amount as far as the ties being removed. So I had requested to have it changed.
I would suggest that we have to amend it before we can vote on it.
And that would be fine, too.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So what's the amount?
So do we need to rescind the original motion?
Just amend it to your new figure.
What's the
Cody.
figure?
Now, you're
But
just doing...
I stated the new
We
figure.
haven't seconded that motion, so.
The amount is $369,232.30.
I mean, that was the motion he made, even though
Yes.
it's,
I guess I felt that the minor change would be okay, but I guess that'd be up to Don.
well,
So procedurally, because I stated the new amount, do we need to pull that
We haven't
motion
seconded
back?
that.
What's that?
We haven't seconded that motion.
If you stated the correct amount in the motion, what we need to do is, I'll have to take a look, Dan, is the correct amount stated in the resolution? Because it would
Yes.
need to be in the printed resolution as well. Yep. No, if it was stated that way and it's already printed in the resolution, then no further action would be necessary. You've got the correct motion on the floor to approve the correct resolution with the amount that engineering has requested. So the only thing is there was a discrepancy then between the amount that was printed on the agenda, and that's considered a scrivener's error and not an issue.
Very well.
Okay, well, then I second the motion then.
Motion is made and seconded for Resolution 24763 in the amount of $369,232.30.
Can't do that.
Correct?
I disagree thoroughly with Robert's Rules of Order on that, Lon. I think, as long as Cody made the motion with the new amount on it, it should have so said so. I mean, we can't pass a motion that's written wrongly. Hell, you have a yes that means a no. I mean, I don't have any problem with that. I think in the future, we need to know what we're doing up here.
We'll check on that one just to make sure that if it ever does arise again, we're procedurally correct.
Very well. For this Resolution 24763, any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Sure.
I'm abstaining from this.
Yes, sir. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
One abstention.
One abstention and one no.
Mhm.
Very well. Councilman Nick.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 24764, approving the deferral of sanitary sewer hookup fees for Outlot A, Country Club Estates 11th Edition, CCE LLC.
Motion is made and seconded for Resolution 24764. Discussion? Those in favor of Resolution 24764 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Draper.
Yes, Your Honor, Resolution 24,765, approving the establishment of no parking here to corner on west side of 13th Street, 8th Avenue to 80 feet north.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded for Resolution 24765. Discussion?
On this one, we talked about moving that closer to the stop sign, but in looking at it and then talking with Mr. Draper, I'm wondering if we want to give one lane close to the Farmer State Bank outlet there, and then move the 3 parking spots up. So we would be encroaching into like 60 feet to the stop sign, but would still give them 3 parking spots. So
I just see a big pickup parked there, and somebody trying to turn to the right out of the bank parking lot. He can't see what's coming on 13th at all.
Currently, the condition exists that way, and has. Currently, the condition exists that way. There's 16 feet there that would allow a person to park there, and has been that way for quite a while.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we've had any accidents at that location. Whatever the council would like to do, I'm open for suggestion. This is our recommendation.
yeah, I guess I don't see that 60 feet to the stop sign would cause an issue or thereabouts, and it would still give them the 3 parking spaces that they would get by what this is showing.
Yeah, we would have to establish a second no parking area adjacent to the driveway if that's what you want to do.
That's right. So I guess what I'm thinking is we need to table this and come back and look at it with that.
I would need some direction from council as a whole.
Yeah,
So there would be a no parking area, a parking area, and a no parking area?
correct.
Yeah, we would have a short area. We'd
don't
have
think that's
about 40 feet of
confusing.
parking in the middle of the
But not
block.
because of the driveway, though.
I think that would just be confusing. I don't know. But
Well,
I would just go with what the engineering's recommendation is, but.
We can always try it, and if it doesn't, this way, and if it doesn't work, we can readdress it later.
okay.
Or are we going to determine it doesn't work the first accident, or?
Yeah, we'll have an accident. We'll have complaints before we have accidents.
Very well, any other discussion for Resolution 24765? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Councilman Pizzor.
Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 24,766, approving the establishment of a no parking zone on the south side of 3rd Avenue from 130 feet east to 310 feet east of 22nd Street.
Second.
Motion is made in second discussion. Do you have anything to add to this, ma'am? Okay, very well. And do we have discussion on this item then?
This came about primarily because of the parents that clogged the streets to pick up their kids from school, and well, in this case, it was the garbage trucks couldn't get through, but if they needed to get emergency vehicles through, they couldn't do that either, so.
Very well. Any other discussion? For Resolution 24766, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Councilman Spinks.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 24767, approving the establishment of a no parking zone on the south side of 2nd Avenue from 2400 2nd Avenue to 27th Street.
Second.
Motion is made in second for Resolution 24767. Now, ma'am, do you have a comment? Step forward to the podium, the name and address, and speak, please. Again, we talked this over earlier, so go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, I'm Linnea Martin, and I live on 2nd Avenue, and I'm just wondering how this came about.
Yes, please.
First of all,
Could we
I
get your address,
misspoke.
ma'am? I'm sorry, Mary Lou, but could we get your address, ma'am?
pardon,
Could we get your address?
2505 2nd Avenue.
Thank you.
I misspoke. This is the one that the street was clogged with parents picking up their kids, so that the garbage trucks couldn't get through.
Okay, I can totally understand that because it gets really busy there. So I just wondered how this came about. The other thing, if we're going to do this on 2nd Avenue, we should probably do it all the way to 31st Street and also on School Street, because School Street gets also very busy with
It's
parents
not that
parked
wide,
on both
actually.
sides. Pardon?
It's not. 2nd Avenue is not that wide.
No, and neither is School Street.
Okay.
And parents come out of there and usually very fast, so I'm yelling at them, sorry, tell them to slow down. But if we're going to do this on 2nd Avenue, do it all the way to 31st Street and also do it on School Street.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure that there will be some comments after we do this, and we may have to do more, so that's fine. Fine. Do you have a sir? Do you have a comment? You may have to step, sir, please.
My name's Michael Hoffman. We're at 2605 2nd Avenue. We're kind of surprised by the letter when we got it that the parking was going to change there. Over the years, we really haven't had too much of a problem with on-street parking during normal hours, just basically when the children are being picked up and when the school buses are coming through. And an adjunct problem to that is the speed with which the people depart the school. And we didn't have that problem when the 2nd Avenue outlet from the school wasn't open. So when they put the gate in there, when they added the additional circle in the school parking lot, then we started getting people coming out of that and coming out at a pretty good speed, both in the morning and the evening. There aren't that many children that walk 2nd Avenue to school, but the cars do come down there. I'm estimating somewhere between 30 to 45 miles an hour sometimes. It's a very, very speedy departure. And there isn't much room for school buses to depart onto School Street. And with traffic the way it is, it's kind of clogged up. I do see the problem. Also, when the people have their kids' activities at school, it really does get jammed up there. And it kind of points to the problem that the school doesn't have adequate parking for anybody. I guess one solution would be to put in some lanes like they did up at the junior high school where the buses could get off the street, take the berm and make the, what do you call it, additional parking so that there wouldn't be so much congestion on 3rd Avenue. And basically to close the gate there on 2nd Avenue, it would eliminate quite a bit of the problem. There's only one house there at the end of 2nd Avenue adjacent to the school property as far as garbage trucks or other activity. And when that gate was put in there, it was my understanding that the gate was to be opened at like 7:30 and closed at 9 o'clock, and then opened again at 2 o'clock, and then closed again at 4 o'clock. And that hasn't happened.
Is that something you could take up with the school board, sir? Take that up with the school board?
Possibly, yeah. But that seems to be bearing on the problem here that we're looking at tonight. Trying to improve the congestion on 2nd Avenue.
Well, thank you.
Well, Francis Marion School was my home school for 15 years. And they did not have the gate there at all at that time. But there is enough playground space that they could add some more parking. And whether that would be a solution, I don't know. But it gets congested.
I guess a question I had, and I don't remember the map Tom did. Everybody who lives on the south side of 2nd Avenue from 24th to 27th Street have a driveway?
I don't know if all of them do, but the majority of them do, yes.
So if they didn't have a driveway, where can they park?
It's 24.
Well, they'd have to park on the north side of the street.
On the north side?
Okay. 27.
And as far as the question of extending this to 31st as well as School Street, is that something that we can send to TAC?
Yeah, it would require direction by the whole council or a written request by a citizen. We would want to do that separately in the fact that we would want to notify everybody and give them a chance for public input.
So we could do that at a later date then?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Very well. Any other comments? For Resolution 24767, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Crawford.
This is a motion to receive, file, and concur with TAC report regarding a request for deer crossing signs on North 10th Street, north of Linn-Mar High School. This is Shelley Gillick, 4058 Bruce Road.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to receive and file and concur. And the concur would be, sir?
To deny.
To deny. To deny the TAC did deny the request for deer crossing signs. We have a motion and a second?
Yep.
Discussion?
Well, I've gone down to that because my chiropractor's in that area, and that traffic goes pretty fast sometimes. And I'm sorry, I kind of think four-legged critters do a lot of damage to cars.
But here, this is a motion to receive and file, and to concur with TAC for request for no deer crossing signs.
Yeah, that it will be no.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And you said there is no deer crossing signs in the city currently?
We currently do not have any. Basically,
Highway 100?
because of the speeds. Pardon?
Highway 100 doesn't have any?
No, I think they have the deer warning, the reflectors to provide for that diversion.
For this motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Nick Abou-Osley.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 24768, approving the installation of bike boulevard signs on Geode Street and 3rd Street.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded for resolution 24768. Discussion? Since they've already been installed, correct?
No, signs have not.
The signs have not, just the street has been painted.
Signs, yes.
Symbols have done.
Okay, fine. Any other discussion? For Resolution 24768, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Draper.
Yes, Your Honor, motion to receive and file request for sidewalk deferral for property located at 6200 North Gateway Drive, Victory Gymnastics Training Center Incorporated.
Second.
Motion is made and second to receive and file a request. Discussion? All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Pazur.
Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 24,769, approving sidewalk deferral for 6200 North Gateway Drive, and this is the Victory Gymnastics Training Center, Inc.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 24769. Discussion?
This deferral is for a certain period of time or when another build-out occurs?
The deferral will be until such time the council passes a resolution of necessity to require the sidewalk to go in.
Okay.
There are no sidewalks on 62nd Street. There are no sidewalks on Gateway.
Correct.
So they would be the only ones there if we didn't defer it.
Yeah.
I could see this sometime in the future as a project as a whole, maybe, or something.
Very well. For Resolution 24769, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Speaks.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to approve ordinance number 15-19, amending section 176.36 of the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Marion Code of Ordinances to establish alternates to the existing 5-member Zoning Board of Adjustment. A city initiated our final consideration.
Second.
Motion is made and second for ordinance number 15-19. Discussion? Those in favor of ordinance number 15-19 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Crawford.
This is a motion to remove from table resolution number 24453, approving Squaw Creek Meadows 6th Edition and memorandum of agreement for property located south of Grand Avenue and east of 26th Street. This is OPM Properties LC and was tabled March 19, 2015.
Second.
Motion is made and second to remove from table resolution 24453. Discussion? Those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Nick Aboulas.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 24453, approving Squaw Creek Meadow 6th Edition and memorandum of agreement for property located south of Grand Avenue and east of South 26th Street, OPM Properties, LC.
Second.
Motion is made and second for resolution 24453. Discussion?
Remind me, why was this tabled back then? Was it a procedural thing or?
The reason it was tabled before, as I recall, because it's been a while, was there was no bonding set up for the improvements at the time. So
Yeah, it's okay.
So
Thank you.
sometimes developers will just hold off and do the improvements instead of going forward right away with the final plat. So.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
For resolution 24453, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Dreamer.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we direct staff to submit an application to obtain a bicycle-friendly community designation.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Directing staff to submit an application. Discussion?
Does that mean we all have to bike to the city council meetings?
Yes.
Those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This time is now. Lon, do you have anything?
Yeah, in reference to the question that Councilwoman Pazur had about the accident rates, I did pull up the traffic study that was done, and at Highway 100 and Seacrest Road, since 2007, there have been 36 traffic accidents. But what is telling on this intersection is that 2 of them were major injury, 4 were minor injury, and then there were another 8 where there were possible injuries. And then if you look at the types of accidents they were, the majority of them were either running the traffic signal or following too closely, which is an indication that people weren't prepared to stop. Those are rear-end style accidents. So that's probably why DOT concurred that the early warning was needed at that intersection.
Yeah, but the body shops love those kind of intersections.
Thank you.
And lawyers.
Council discussion. Ma'am.
Yes, sir. I would move that we look at removing the parking on Second Avenue to 31st Street, to be consistent with what we just did. Since you need a motion from the council on that.
Can we
Move to
actually
refer that to TAC, you mean?
I'm sorry?
Move to refer
Move
that to TAC for review.
To go to TAC.
Okay.
do a motion if it hasn't been published?
You shouldn't.
You can do that. It's just to go to TAC.
It can be a motion directing staff. I mean, it's a motion directing staff not taking substantive action on something which the council would have, or the public would have needed constructive notice. If you were going to vote to remove parking, I would say no, but as a motion to direct staff, I think it would be acceptable.
Motion is made and second to direct staff for no parking on the north side of 2nd to 31st?
No parking on the south side.
South side?
South side. To be consistent with what was just passed.
Very well, very well. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very well. Sir?
Is that your discussion?
That was good.
I guess I wanted to, I got to thinking about, when the roundabouts first came out, I was deathly against them. And I made a couple of trips to Minnesota and saw them operate. I did a video, brought the video back and watched it and looked at how well they operated. But I got to thinking back about, a lot of people are against the roundabouts, and as one of the leaders of the city, we here on council need to step forward and make safety a concern for us. And I got to thinking back about when cars first got their seat belts. And I know that my dad was deathly opposed to them, to the point where he took an X-Acto knife and actually cut them out of the car because he would not have those belts in the car. And no one would argue today that seat belts don't save lives in vehicles. And I guess that's how I feel about the roundabouts, that we would, as leaders of the city, would be irresponsible if we didn't propose to the citizens something that would promote the health and welfare, as Kay said in our ordinances. We need to step forward and promote things in the city that are safe. And four-way stops, I mean, you look at accidents like crazy in those. And even the intersection, I mean, that Highway 100 intersection, it's got all kinds of lights in it. And you said how many accidents were there? 30?
36.
36. So, I guess as a member of the council, I guess I feel that roundabouts are the safest intersections that we can be putting into the city. And there's lots of studies, and one of the, it's not an official study, but the one that I always go back to is the Mythbusters, where they did a look at four-way stops versus roundabout and how many people can go through an intersection. And I believe the four-way stop was in the 300, like 280, somewhere in that, and I think the roundabout was almost 400 cars, because a roundabout can handle 2 to 3 cars at a time going through it. So it, that one was not busted on the Mythbuster show. They said that was a fact. So, but anyway, I feel like, people that first hear about these safety things like the seat belts are deathly against them, but as we go on and see, those types of things are safe. They save our lives. So I guess that's my feeling on it.
Well, that was a good presentation. Unfortunately, the rest of us only have 15 seconds.
Oh,
so
sorry.
Sorry.
I get your 15 seconds? Oh, okay. I agree with you, Joe, in some ways, and I went to Wisconsin because I was trying to satisfy my curiosity, and Dan's talking to me, and for those of us that have had a few birthdays, roundabouts are a complete mystery. We've learned all of our life, right away, a roundabout, it's left away. And with that in mind, I would like to see us, once we get a true roundabout, we have 2 tryabouts now, pick a time from 2 to 3 in the afternoon and have the PD come out and have practice, particularly at 35th Street. We have a lot of people living in the apartments there that are going to have to go through that thing. And if we'd let 5 cars at a time go, if the PD would, people would have an opportunity to learn how to use the things. They're confusing if you haven't been there before. So I'd just like us to think about that. The only other item I heard from 3 businesses this week between 31st and 35th, and of no fault to the city, but Pelling does an excellent job when he does things, except a 2-day notice was not adequate to those businesses. And they have deliveries. I know Goodyear store needs to schedule his deliveries, and he could sneak in the back, but it was very difficult with a semi-truck wanting to unload tires. And I just think that they should have given him at least a week, and he could have caught up on his deliveries. So in the future, we might write that in, that they give a longer notice to the businesses when they're going to close a main street like that.
Is that longer notice given in a contract, or is it just generally through the statutes of the city?
We typically specify within the contract a 48-hour notice because most times it's adequate. Obviously, it wasn't this time. We do make preemptive discussions with those businesses. They know it's coming, but they didn't know the exact day in this situation.
Thank you. Anything else, Paul?
No, that's all I have. I would like to make note that we lost a citizen last week in Dr. Robert Jacobson, who was a dental practitioner in Marion for 30-some years, and he'll be missed by a lot of us. He wouldn't let me call him. He was an ex-Marine. He was a Marine, so we've lost him, and that's too bad.
I have 2 comments. One, I appreciate Mr. Ramsey for approaching this evening, because your family and our family are the same way. We believe in the city, and we both put our money where our mouth is, and we've expanded. And we would not only hope, but we know that the businesses will survive. We do need traffic. We do need a traffic count and this and that. You need pedestrian traffic. And we all hope that with what we are doing in the city, that all this will transpire. So that's one of the things that we do. The second thing is that I was, like Joe, I was against roundabouts all the way. I think, again, I make the statement that this particular roundabout on 29th and 35th is going to be our first true roundabout, and we will see how this operates. And hopefully it'll operate perfectly, and people will learn how to operate with this roundabout very well.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am?
I tried to get your attention way back under planning and development. May I speak?
You have 1 minute.
1 minute. Now you know better than that.
No, I'd really make it short. We're ready to go.
Kay Lammers, 28 22nd Avenue in Marion. And I was here on Tuesday when all of you said, all these vacant lots that we have, we're going to make them put in sidewalks. Tonight you sat here and you're going to let an existing business have a deferral and not put in a sidewalk. Now, your consistency is just strange. Now, this I know is out in the industrial area.
There's no building there, Kate.
There's not a building there yet?
No, it's brand.
Well, then why did they request a deferral so soon?
Well, because part of the agreement is that the sidewalk would be put in there, I think, but there is no building.
In this area, there's not a lot of walking going on. The primary focus of that we talked about earlier is residential neighborhoods. Now, this is an industrial area. In the MEC, we are putting sidewalks in because we're starting from scratch. There's 3 buildings out there. Their sidewalks are going in. This development is 85% built out with no sidewalks. So as they plat, they are required to put a sidewalk in. This is a deferral. The council can pass a resolution to have it go in. The point that I was making by saying that the council can do that at such time a resolution is passed is that it would be best to do it at a time when everybody else is putting theirs in. All the council has to do at that time is say, it's time, and then
Okay.
they have to do it. So the deferral is different than a waiver.
Okay,
They're still on the hook for it, but to have one sidewalk out there on one lot when nothing else is developed doesn't make any sense, really.
well, isn't this very close to our Waldo's monument out there?
No.
So you're going to
Oh,
have...
it's not. It
It's
is not.
No,
No,
it's
thank
way
you.
up.
It's south of
We're
it?
adjourned. Thank you so much.
It's what?
We're adjourned.
You want to see a picture?